Ever wonder why buying the ugly house might be a better bet than the polished one that you would see on TV? Well, stick around and we are going to reveal why. We're going to explore who this concept is best suited for and why buying that ugly house may actually be your best option. Yep, we're going to take into account your lifestyle, plus your finances and your home remodeling experience. Oh, and of course, how much time you have. You're going to want to stick around to the end because that's where we're going to take a close look at all of the important stuff, the numbers. That way you can see for yourself why this really may be your best strategy. And it's not just for first-time buyers, but move-up buyers and investors too. Hey, let's be honest. HGTV has kind of mind-warped people with all these delusions of walking into a few really nice homes and getting to pick one, then magically getting your offer accepted. Kind of like when you were a kid and the tooth fairy. Well, guys, back here in real life, that pretty much never happens. But if that's what you're going after, plan on spending top dollar. But there are some real pros and cons to both buying the ugly house and buying the nice house. So let's start with the pros to buying the nice house. Here's a really big question for you. Do you have more money than time? Be honest. Then, do you mind going in at the highest price for a neighborhood? There is a reason that I ask these two questions. Years of experience has shown us time and time again, this is exactly what happens with every seller of any updated or fully remodeled home. Yep, you can bet on it. The seller is going to ask for top dollar for their property. So maybe you're a business owner or someone who just doesn't have a lot of time to do the work on a home that you need to move into as soon as possible. You're in a hurry or you just want to buy that home and move in or buy it and rent it out. That way you immediately get your property and your tax benefits, making it quick to return to your normal life because there's less work and time involved. So if this sounds like you, then this is a fast, less risky purchase for you. But I gotta tell you, the number one con for a buyer who goes this route is they do not get sweat equity. When you buy a turnkey home, there's nothing you can really do to add value to that property. Someone has already gone in and done the work. The property's value has already been maxed out. Your only equity position is your down payment. The second con is that it actually takes more money to buy a nice house. Not just up front, but month after month. We'll be sure to cover how the numbers actually break down at the end of the video, and we'll show you exactly why you need more money to buy the nice house. And there's one more reason to cover, con number 3. Your down payment is stuck in the nice house. The only way to refi and pull out that down payment is if you wait out the appreciation in the market or if you wait until rates drop. There you have it, the ability to refi and get your down payment back. Neither seems to be happening anytime soon as I film this. Now, I want you to remind me at the end about the secret of borrowing money against your property later in this video. Now on to the ugly house. So who's the right person for an ugly house? Ugly houses are for people that have more time than money. If you're willing to do the work, you can learn to look for properties where you can add value to that property, where you can make substantial improvements, giving you the ability to refi that property once the work is done, so you can recoup your down payment. But it goes so much deeper than just getting your funds back out of the house. Guys, you can wash, rinse, and repeat, doing this process again and again. And I'm going to explain exactly how to do that in just 3 more paragraphs. So here are the pros to the ugly house or property. The number one pro is that you can actually buy this property for less. Yep, you heard me correctly. Less than that property that's already turnkey. So your initial out-of-pocket investment is less, even after you add in the cost for the rehab work. You're going to get a lower loan amount than you would with the more expensive turnkey house because you're buying it for less, which means your payment is lower, which if you choose to rent out this property once the work's done, means your cash flow position is going to be greater. The second pro is that you can actually create sweat equity. So by the time that you're finished with the home, you actually have instant equity beyond your down payment, which, by the way, if you're owner occupied, could be as little as 0 down if you're a vet with VA benefits, or as little as 3.5% or 5% down if you're using FHA or conventional financing. Now for pro number 3. If you improve the value of this property enough, you can actually refi and pull out your down payment. And this is where you can go out and do this all over again and again. Now, if you forget anything else that I explained in this video, you may actually want to grab a pen and jot this part down. As an owner-occupant buyer who is single, when you sell your primary residence after living there at least 2 out of the last 5 years, you can walk away with up to $250,000 tax-free profit. Now, if you're married, that amount is going to double. Yep, up to $500,000 tax-free. There's your seed money for your next project. We call it wash, rinse, and repeat because, guys, there are no restrictions on how many times you can do this anywhere in the U.S. We actually have a client who made a living doing this just by buying these ugly houses, living there for the 2 out of the 5 years as she renovated the place herself. Then she would sell it and she'd buy the next one. She actually made enough money to live off of the proceeds and buy her next project. But maybe that strategy doesn't really work for you. You may not want to sell. Maybe you're thinking of buying and owning a handful of rental properties, picking them up one after another over the next few years. You can refi that property and use the seed money from your refi into your next property, making a nice little rental property for yourself with that initial purchase. And then you go and buy your next investment property as an owner-occupied buyer all over again. So what are the risks or the cons with the ugly house? Are you handy? Have you done any remodeling? Do you know a reliable contractor? Have friends or family in the trades? Why? Well, you're going to want to be sure you have people in place to get the job done right and as close to budget and time as you estimated at the get-go. Getting your numbers right is important. Are you patient? Con number 2 is you can always count on delays for work getting completed, weather, materials are short, or your plumber gets sick. Hey guys, this is real life and things happen. You need to be patient. On to con number 3. The property may not qualify for traditional financing if it's in really bad shape. Guys, VA appraisers are notoriously strict when it comes to the property condition at the time of purchase. Luckily, there are some programs for repair loans. Plus, there's always hard money lending if all else fails. So, as I promised, let's look at the real life numbers. Now, it's easy to adjust the numbers we use in our example, depending on your neighborhood and your market. Say you're looking at a turnkey property at $1 million mark. You're buying at the top of the market value due to the location. Again, there's no sweat equity in this purchase. Say you're putting down 20%, putting your mortgage at $6,500 a month, with rates being around 6.8 mark right now. Now let's break down those numbers for the ugly house. You can pick up a similar home in, say, $800,000 in the same area, and the place needs maybe $100,000 in work for everything, which puts you all in at around $900,000. Right out of the gate, you're $100K under the turnkey property in equity. Now, with the same down payment of 20%, you're coming in with less money down, plus your payment is $5,100 a month. You're saving yourself $1,400 a month doing it this way, guys, because your loan is lower and so is your mortgage payment, taxes, and insurance. At the end of the day, you're better off. And don't forget, you have the ability to rent it out and get a higher cash flow. You have the ability to refi and go do it all over again. Remember, with the nice house, the ability to refi is going to take longer to get to. And if you decide to rent it out, your cash flow position is going to be less. Hey, you almost forgot to remind me. What is that big secret that I mentioned earlier? There is no tax on borrowed money. Refi cash in your pocket is a non-taxable event. Please think about that and check with your accountant or even check with the IRS. Well, we don't want to give them any ideas, but do check into it because this is actually the key to building family wealth through cash property accumulation. Yes, you know it's more work, more risk, but also more reward. We have successfully done this exact thing ourselves with our own properties and have helped hundreds of clients do the same. Ready to explore this further? It's easy. You just schedule a call with us. And if you would like to see how you can apply this same strategy to apartment buildings, you're going to want to check out this video next. Guys, it's pretty amazing what we break down because you can get into your first home and your first investment property all at the same time while putting yourself on the path to owning a cash flowing asset ridiculously fast.